Lisa, and I'm going to take you today for your Pilates for All class. So you're just going to need this much space. So if you just put your hands out left and right, make sure you have that much space around you and to the sides as well. If you have a mat, great, lay it out, just make sure you have that space around you. And you will need a cushion or a hoodie for support for your head, neck and shoulders. If you sit at a desk, or maybe you're driving the car a lot or look at your phone a lot and you've got a bit of forward head lean, definitely you'll need something to support the neck and head when we're doing lying down movements. I'm going to use a resistance band today as well. Don't panic if you don't have one. You can use a scarf or a towel, or if you have a tie in the house, something like that. We won't be doing a lot of movement with it, but you will need something like that for our class today. So if you have a resistance band, great. If not, go and grab yourself a scarf or a towel now, okay? So you can pause the video now and go and grab that stuff. And then when you're ready, we're going to lie ourselves down. We don't need any equipment to start. So you can turn, bring your heels nice and close to your bum. You could keep your hands on your shins as you lower yourself down onto the mat. Keep the heels nice and close to the bum and just have a tennis ball distance between your feet, between your knees, and then we'll place our hands onto our hip bones. Roll your shoulders back and then let your breastbone sink down. Just settle yourself into the mat. And you might close your eyes for this part of class. What we're going to do from here is roll your hip bones forward towards your pubic bone, create a big huge arch in your low back. Now roll your hip bones back towards your belly button and plant your back on the mat. Again, we roll the hip bones forward, creating that space in the low back. And then we roll the hip bones back to the belly button, planting the back on the mat. And you're just going to move between these two places, creating loads of space in the low back and having no space in the low back. Feeling your pelvis tilting forward, both hip bones tilting forward. Feeling the pelvis tilt back as both hips rock back to your belly button. Now when I do this, I like to inhale as I rock the hips forward and exhale as I bring them back. Because when I inhale forward, I create loads of space between my ribs and hips as those hips rock forward. Exhale, bring it back, ribs and hips get that bit closer together as I exhale. Now just keep moving between these two positions. And really notice the difference between the two. Now what I want you to do is find somewhere between these two positions that's balanced. So you're not completely arched, you're not completely pinned. If you had some blueberries in your low back, they'd sit in your low back, they wouldn't be squished and they wouldn't have room to roll around. For me, I'm able to just fit my hand into my low back there, and that's a good position for me. Now some people have a little bit more space, some people have less space. But finding that place between the two, having those hips balanced, is perfect for your neutral spine. Now once you have that, place your hands onto your hip bones again. We're going to lift our right hip bone up into the sky, drop your left hip bone down. So one bum cheek lifts up, the other bum cheek lowers. Then lower your right hip bone, lift your right or your left hip bone. So lowering the right bum cheek, lifting the left bum cheek. And then just switching side to side. So it's one hip going up, the other hip going down. Bringing it to center and then switching. One bum cheek dropping as the other bum cheek lifts. And again, feeling the difference between these 2 points on the pelvis. And again, we'll find that place between left and right that's balanced. So I'm balanced now left to right. I'm balanced front to back. I still have just that little space in my low back. And this is what we call our neutral spine, our neutral pelvis in Pilates. So when we're coming into our ab series later in class, I'll be reminding you to come back to this. So if you need to do a few tilts forward and back during class, you can go for it. I'll always give you a bit of time to do it. But we're starting off just here, okay? From here, just place your hands down by your hips. And you can lengthen your left leg forward. We're going to bring the right leg into tabletop, which is just knee over the hip, shin in line with your mat, toes pointing forward. Now we're going to start with some leg circles. So I'm going to bring my right thigh bone towards me. I'm going to bring it out the side of my mat, down around to the front, out the left side of my body and back around to center. Now I'm going to take my hand onto my left hip bone. Just make sure my left hip stays steady as I do the circle with the right leg. Whenever we do leg circles, we're just mobilizing your thigh bone in your hip socket. Now, whenever you do mobility, you have to have stability. One doesn't come without the other. So that's why we need that left hip to be steady. What you're focusing on with your moving leg is your thigh bone. My thigh bone is reaching towards me, it's reaching to the side, it's reaching to the front, and it's coming back towards the hip. That's what you're focusing on, your thigh bone and your hip socket. If this feels really good, the hips are feeling really good and mobile this morning, you can go for a straight leg. Straight leg as you spiral around. Now if you switch to that straight leg, try and keep the movement the same size. And then what we can do is reverse it. So the leg will go forward first, out to the side, around and back. If you were doing straight leg in the other direction, you can do it again here. And always try and match the movement that you did in the other direction. So we do always have one side that's a bit more mobile than the other, but we don't want it to keep getting more mobile. We want the movements to match. So if your clockwise circle was a lot smaller than you can do anti-clockwise, just match the movements. Go a little smaller on your more mobile side. Go for another 2. And go for your last one. You can place that right foot down. Left leg comes up to tabletop and lengthen your right leg out. Place your hand onto your right hip bone, and then we're going to start to circle with that left leg. You can start in tabletop, or if you're going for straight leg, you can start with straight leg straight away. Thigh bone comes towards you, out the side, down around to the front, out the other side, and all the way around. Now, find your breath. You might like to exhale as you go around in the circle, and inhale as you come around to center. Now there's no right or wrong breaths in class, but for the length of time you're doing the movement, you're doing the breath. So the length of time you're going around, an inhale or an exhale, as you return to center, an inhale or an exhale. Always at your breath, match your movement. Don't panic if a different breath suits you to what I'm calling out. Again, if you want to try the straight leg for the last 3 repetitions in this direction, you could switch to it now. Making sure that right hip stays steady all the time. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. And the last one. Now we can reverse it, take it the opposite way around. Still trying to match the movement you did in the other side. Taking long, deep breaths all the time, and remembering it's the thigh bone that we're reaching rather than the foot. It's all the movement of the thigh bone that we need to focus on. Last 3. Making sure our back isn't hugely arching or pinning here. Last 2. And the last 1. Place that foot down on the mat and bring your right foot up close to it. Now we're going to put that tennis ball distance between our feet and our knees again. Bring your heels right up as close towards your bum as you can, okay? If you need to have a little wriggle around, make sure your hip bones are balanced left to right, front to back. You can go for a few tilts here, or just pop your fingertips into your low back. Make sure they're not completely squished or that they don't have a huge amount of space to roll around to start, okay? Hands down by your hips. The first thing I'm going to get you to do, turn and face your palms towards the ceiling. Roll your shoulders back, open out your chest, and then just let your breastbone sink down. Relax into that mat. Now from here, I'm going to spread my toes and give myself really good base and support. We're going to do a move called shoulder bridge. The first thing we do before we take off in a shoulder bridge is lengthen our spine. And to do that, we'll do a pelvic tilt. Roll our hips towards our belly button, plant your back fully on the mat. So we've got a nice straight back the whole way through. Now from here, I'm going to stand into my feet. As I do, my hips will start to lift, my knees will start to reach forward, and I roll to the top of that shoulder bridge. When I'm at the top, I'll take a big inhale, make sure my hips are balanced. As I exhale, then I'm going to peel through my spine, rolling down. As I roll down, I'm making sure my hips aren't wobbling left to right. Peel all the way down, fully plant that tailbone. You can rock the hips forward, then rock them back. Plant the back onto the mat. Big inhale, then exhale, stand into your feet. Peel through the spine, one disc at a time, all the way to the top. When you're at the top, nice big inhale, and then exhale, peeling down. You want to roll down through your upper ribs, your lower ribs, your mid-back, your low back, and finally your tailbone. Rock forward at the bottom, rock the hips back, and then we go again. Now, if your hips are wobbling or shaking, or you're dipping down on the left or the right, I want you to push a little harder into your left and right feet. Make sure you're pushing evenly through the feet to get that balance in the hips. As you roll down, you still have good base and support in your feet so that the hips don't wobble or shake. This is a really good test of the stability of the pelvis as we strengthen all the way through the posterior chain. Keep floating up and down in your own time, trying to connect with every disc of the spine on the way up and every disc of the spine on the way back down. When you're at the top, try and relax your breastbone, just so we're not putting any pressure into the head, neck or shoulders. We want to keep it down the body. We're really focusing on the hamstrings, so the backs of your thighs, and your posterior chain, so the whole way through your spine. Now on the next one, we're going to go up to the top. We're going to hold it there. So exhale to the top, smooth hips the whole way up. Now, if you're feeling it's a bit too challenging to hold your hips up at this height, you can drop your hips an inch, no problem. If you're really struggling to stay up for this whole sequence, leave your bum down is no problem as well. From here, right leg comes to tabletop. That's knee over the hip, shin in line with your mat. When you lift the leg up, you may need to reach your right thigh bone a little higher out of the hip socket so your hips are balanced. If you're not sure, have a glance towards your hips or pop your hands on your hips and you may feel that right hip dropping down so that thigh bone goes a little higher. We're going to keep that leg in tabletop. We're going to keep our hips balanced. We're going to roll down. I'm rolling my ribs down, upper ribs, lower ribs, mid-back, low back, tailbone. Keeping the leg in tabletop all the time. You can do your pelvic tilt at the bottom, back to the mat, and then we exhale and roll up. Both hips roll up. Roll up to somewhere that feels good and challenging for you, and then peel down. Remember, you may need to be reaching that right thigh bone a little bit higher out of the hip socket just for balance through the pelvis. As I said, if you're struggling with this movement, you don't have to go all the way to the top. You can always lift 2 or 3 inches off the mat and then lower back down. We're going for 2 more. You're nearly there. Remember, exhale as you lift, inhale at the top, exhale as you lower. Now last one, we're going to go to the top, we're going to hold it there. You can stay with the leg in tabletop here, or we can go straight leg towards the ceiling. If you're going tabletop, we're going to inhale, reach the leg forward so your knees are in line, exhale, bring it back. Inhale, reach it forward, exhale, bring it back. If we have a straight leg, it's straight leg lower, knees in line, back over the hip. Inhale forward, exhale, bring it back. We're going for 6. Keep the hips up. For 5, keep the right hip up in particular. For 4, relax your chest. For 3, for 2, and last one. Bend the knee, place the foot down, balance your left and right hip. Big inhale, exhale, we're going to peel down. When you get to the bottom, give your knees a little hug in towards the chest and give yourself a little baby rock side to side. Now we have 2 legs, so we're going to have to do the other side. So bring your heels back in, close to your bum. Tennis ball distance between the feet and the knees. Again, place your hands down by your hips. And again, feel that space in the low back. Do you have that little bit of space before we take off? That will do a little tilt and flatten the back. So we're going to roll our hips towards our belly button, back goes down onto the carriage or onto the mat. From here, big inhale, exhale, stand down into your feet, roll up. Both feet connected to the mat. When you're at the top, left leg comes into tabletop. Remember, reach that thigh bone a little bit higher out of the hip socket. Hips are balanced, big inhale, exhale, roll down. Ribs come down. Mid back, low back, tailbone. Roll your hips to your belly button at the bottom. Make sure the back is flat on the mat before you take off. Then push down into that right foot. Lift those hips up and lower back down. And again, you may inhale at the bottom, exhale as you lift. Inhale at the top, exhale as you lower. Making sure the hips stay balanced all the time by lifting that left thigh bone a little higher out of the hip socket as you go. We'll go for another 2. You're nearly there. The back of your right thigh bone may be awake. Now don't panic if it is. And the last one up to the top, and we hold. Hips are balanced. You can push your hands into the mat if you need little anchors. Remember, we're going to inhale, reach forward, knees in line. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, bring it back. You can go for straight leg, forward, straight leg over the hip. Inhale, forward, exhale, back. We'll go for 5 more. Keep those hips up. For 4, for 3. Imagine your thigh bone reaching up and out of the hip socket forward. For 2. And the last one. Leg to tabletop. Place the foot down, balance those hips, and then roll to the bottom. Give your knees a little hug in towards the chest, and give yourself a small baby rock from side to side. Now what we're going to do from here, I'm going to grab the resistance band, but if you have a scarf or a towel or a tie, you can grab that now. What we'll do, have your left leg forward just so it's straight, and you can put the scarf, towel or resistance band over your right leg. So have it over kind of the center part of your foot, and flex your foot towards your face. Bend your knee in towards your chest and just push the leg out. Now you don't need to have a lot of tension here. We're just bending the knee and lengthening. Try and have the foot flexed as you do. Go for 3, for 2, and the last one, hold it there. Now point the toe towards the ceiling. You want to try and bring the leg towards your face. Now if you're like me and you're quite tight in your hamstrings, you may not be able to even bring your foot beyond your hip, and that's fine. For some of you who are quite flexible, you'll be able to bring your foot right towards your face, and that's perfect. If you bring your foot towards your face, you want to have your leg as straight as your body will allow. Toe pointed so we can get all through the back of the leg. Right through the hamstring in towards your glutes. Think about pointing your toe higher into the sky to get the stretch rather than pulling with your arms. Hold that for another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring that leg across the left side of your body. When you do, you can reach your right arm out, look towards the right side so your shoulders stay down. Now, even though I'm bringing the leg out to the left, I still want to bring it towards my face. So I get a big, huge stretch all on the outside of the leg. Every breath you do, bring the leg a little closer towards you. For another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bring the leg across out the right side. Get the inner thigh. As I do this, I'm actually going to flex my foot towards my face for this one, just so I can get a little deeper into the inner thigh. Because to activate our inner thigh and get external rotation of our hip, we'll point our toe outwards. And it helps in this one to flex your foot, just to get a little deeper stretch. Keep bringing that foot towards your face and keep those shoulders down. We have another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg to center. Place that foot straight out, and we can bring the opposite foot up into the band. We're going to go straight leg again first to start. And we're bringing that foot towards our face. Toe pointed towards the ceiling, just to get a little deeper into our hamstrings. And again, you're trying to get the stretch with your leg rather than pulling with your arms. So try not to be really pulling as much as you can the leg towards you. Just let the leg flow back towards you as much as it can, naturally. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. You have another 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now from there, bring the leg across to the right. Left arm can reach out, shoulders stay down, and feel that stretch on the outside of your leg, outside of your hip. You could turn the toe inward slightly, point it away from you. That's going to get a little bit more outer thigh, outer hip, as we internally roll from the hip as well. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring the leg across the opposite side. You could take it in the opposite hand, so left side, left hand. Shoulders down, and again you could point the big toe out, flex your foot towards your face and get a deeper stretch on that inner thigh. Relax through the shoulders. Bring the foot a little closer to your face. You have your last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg back in nice and gently. And you can put that strap or scarf or whatever you have away. Now the inner thighs should be nice and active. All the legs have got a nice big stretch. So we're going to bring our legs into tabletop, and we're going to do a nice little bit of core work involving through the pelvis, the hips, the legs. So legs to tabletop. If you struggle with legs and tabletop, knees come closer towards your chest, heels down to your bum. That'll take the pressure off your hips. But let's all try to start in this 90-90 position first. Arms open out wide, left and right, palms up towards the ceiling. Now for this move, I want the move to start in my core. I don't want to just throw my legs to the side. So I'm going to start to twist in my core from the left side over to the right. As I do, my knees will gradually move towards the right. My left bum cheek will start to lift off the mat as I lower slowly to that right side. Now from there, I'm going to take a big inhale, and I'm going to pull from the left side of my core up the top of my ribs. I'm going to start to pull my knees back to center, using that core, using your obliques. Now opposite side, as I move towards the left, I feel the right side of my body stretching out. My right bum cheek lifting off the mat. Big inhale, exhale as I use my core to draw those knees back to center. And again, feel that stretch now from the left side as you move to the right. Left bum cheek lifting off. Now really pull, using from your ribs all the way through the side of your body to bring those knees back. Then again, you may inhale as you lower to the side, twisting through the core. And exhale as you draw those knees back up. We go for 2 more. Big inhale, sweeping to the side. Try and keep your feet up here if you can. Exhale, coming back to center. Last one. Moving to the left. Feel that right side stretching. Feel that right side twisting across. Exhale, bring it back to center. All core, core, core through center. Hold it there in the middle. From here, you can take your hands to the outsides of your thighs, about mid-thigh. Fingers nice and open, so we're not in any fists with the hands, and the legs are in tabletop. I'm going to take a big inhale. As I exhale, I'm going to tuck my chin in, round out my upper spine, curl up, look towards my belly button into an abdominal crunch. Trying to get my shoulder blades up and off the mat, and then inhale, lower back down. Then again, I exhale as I tuck my chin in, round out my upper spine, move my ribs to my hips. Then inhale, release that space between my ribs and hips, relax my head down. And then again, big exhale, curling up, closing off that space in the tummy. Big inhale, releasing back. Now if you struggle with your head, neck and shoulders, you could have the cushion under your head here. And if you struggle having the legs up on this one, you can leave the legs down on the mat and just focus on the movement of the abdominals instead. You always want to have your head, neck and shoulders moving together, so we're not just throwing our head up, it's all moving together. You tuck your chin in and you round out as you lift. Release it all the way back. We'll go for another 4. Nearly there. Big exhale as you curl up for 3. For 2. Now next one, we want to go up, hold it up there. From here, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, open them out, bring them back to your thighs, lower down. Big exhale, curl up, arm circle, up, out, around, lower down. Then again, exhale, lift, arms up. Try and get your arms to pass behind your head, back to center. We'll go for 2 more. Curl up, back behind the head and back to center. Last one, lift, raise the arms up, around and back, lower down. Then we're going to lift up, we're going to reverse the circle, go out left and right, come back behind your head and back to center. Lower, exhale, lift, arms out, around, back to center, lower. Exhale, lift, arms out, around, back, nearly there. Go 2 more. Curl up, keep those shoulders up as you circle as best you can. Last one. And lower down. Take a quick rest. You can drop your feet if you need to. Now from here, legs back to tabletop when you're ready. We can take the hands behind the head this time, elbows out wide. Nice big inhale. As you exhale, we're going to curl up, lift the head, neck and shoulders up. From here, we're going to take both hands to our left shin. Reach your right leg forward, bring that knee in towards your chest. Take an inhale, exhale, you're going to switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, switch. We're going to go for 8. Keep your shoulder blades off the mat as you do this one. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees in towards your chest, you can lower down. When you're ready, legs to tabletop, hands behind the head nice and wide. Big inhale, exhale, curl up. This time we bring both knees in towards our chest. As we reach the legs out, we reach the arms out, double leg stretch. Knees in towards your chest, legs out, arms out. Inhale, draw it in, exhale, reach it out. Inhale, draw it in, exhale, reach it out. You can go lower with the legs to make it harder, higher with the legs to make it easier. You can even go straight over the hips to make it easier. You can leave your head, neck and shoulders down to make it easier, but try and stay in the movement. We've got 4 more. And 3. And 2. And the last one. Knees in, drop the head down. Give yourself a little baby rock from side to side. Now, last move that we're going to do for the core today, we're going to bring our legs to tabletop again. We're going to take our hands behind our head. Take a big inhale, exhale, we're going to curl up. Now I'm going to take my hands behind my left thigh bone. I'm going to reach my left leg towards the ceiling, right leg goes straight out. Now don't panic if your legs aren't as straight as mine or you don't have as much distance. You can always have them this far apart to make it easier. I'm going to go for the full movement. From here I'm going to switch legs. Take my hand to the opposite leg and switch again and switch again. You might inhale as you lower, exhale as you lift. You can go slower than me if you need to. We're going for 8. Keep your shoulders up. 7, 6. Move your ribs towards your hips. Every exhale. For 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. Knees in, lower down. Give yourself that baby rock from side to side. Now we're done with the core. You'll be happy to hear. Roll yourself up so you're sitting forward. When you're ready then, we're going to come into a table position. So we're going to be kneeling on the mat. So from here, you want to have your knees under your hips. You want to have your hands slightly forward of your shoulder, so we're not putting all the weight down on top of our wrists. So have your wrists ever so slightly forward of your shoulder, then spread your fingers, spread your thumbs. Give yourself really good base and support. You don't need a huge amount of space between your knees again, just about a tennis ball distance or a little bit wider than that. From here, I'm going to inhale, tuck my chin in, round out my upper spine, tuck my tailbone under. Then I'm going to release my tailbone out, lift my eye focus up towards the sky, lift my breastbone up, and then inhale, tuck my chin in, round out. My breastbone scoops back, my tummy scoops back. Then as I release it out, I release through my collarbone, opens fully. The bony parts of my bum open out left and right to the back. Before I tuck the bony parts of the bum back in, tuck my chin in, and round out. And now I just want you to flow between these two movements. Feeling the difference between having the bony parts of the bum open and having them tucked in. Feeling the difference between being totally scooped up and totally rounded out. And now find a place between the two that's balanced. So you don't want to be completely tucked in, completely rounded out. Same with your shoulders. What you want is to have a line from your head, shoulders to your bum. So if I came around and put a stick on your back, I'd want it to connect with the top of your head, your shoulders and your bum, okay? So we're looking for a nice straight line in the back. And if at any point during this you feel you're arching your back or you're really rounding out, do that movement again where you're scooping and releasing to find that space between the two that's balanced. Keep your hands just as they are. We're going to come on to our toes, so curl your toes back, and from there scoop your legs back into a plank position. So lengthen those legs out behind. You're up on the toes. From here you can bend your elbows, your chest comes down onto the mat, and then push into your hands, lift your chest up. Open your collarbone out, keep your shoulders away from your ears. Now from here, I'm going to go up into a plank again, lift my spine up, and I'm going to send my bum back this time into a down dog position or a pike's position. Sink my head between my shoulders, sink my chest towards my thighs. Try to keep my legs nice and straight, or as straight as my body will allow. And again, release the shoulders from the ears. From here, I'm going to move my hips forward, move my shoulders forward, back into a plank position. I'm going to lower my hips down, lift my chest up, and press your hips towards the mat as you lift your spine towards the sky. Release the shoulders away. Now start to move your hips back, lift into a plank, and back into your down dog. Sink your head between your shoulders, move your chest towards your thighs. Lovely long deep breaths. Try and go for as flat a back position as your body will allow. Then release it back forward into your plank. From there, hips lower down, chest raises up, collarbone open. Lift your heart as high into the sky as you can. Eye focus as high into the sky as you can. And then last time, hips come up into the sky as you release your head between your shoulders. Now from here, you may need to step your feet in a little bit just to give yourself a bit more balance. I want you to give a very soft bend to your left knee. Very soft bend. Spread the toes on your left foot. Give yourself good base and support. Try to keep your back as flat as your body will allow. Bring your knee in towards your chest. Don't worry if you round out a little bit for this part. Now as your leg reaches up, flat back. Legs in the sky, open out into that hip so you can rotate to the right side. Rotate your hip back to center. The knee comes in towards your chest. The leg reaches up into the sky. Rotate into that hip. We're looking to free the hips out. Then bring the hip back to center. Face it to your mat. Knee comes in. Knee comes in. Hip is facing to the mat. Knee goes out. Leg goes out. Rotate. Rotate to center. Knee comes back in. We'll go for 3 more. Reach the leg up. Rotate. Rotate to center. Bring it back in. Scoop back. Try and have a flat back when the leg is up. Rotate it out. To center. Knee back in. Last 2. Now last one. Reach and hold. Try and have that back flat. Open out into that hip, point that toe, hold it there for 3, for 2, and 1. The foot comes down, pop your knees down onto the mat. Keep your bum up high in the sky, walk your hands forward. So we're into what we call a clam pose here, or shell stretch. The bony parts of your bum can open out to the wall behind you. Your chest can press down towards your mat. Your breastbone sinks down to your mat. Your arms are reaching forward out of your shoulder sockets. And we're taking lovely long deep breaths. Hold that there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back to about chest level. Again, push into your hands, your feet, lift the bum up, sink the head back into that flat back position again when you're ready. This time a soft bend in your right knee, spread the toes on the right foot. Left knee comes into the chest, you can round out slightly, but we need a flat back when the leg goes up. Open into that left hip, hip comes to center, knee comes back. So my hips are facing down to the mat until my leg is in the sky. Then I rotate to the left. I rotate to the mat and I bring it back. Then again, lift it up, rotate, rotate it back, bring it back. 4 more. Use your breath here. I like to inhale as I reach up and exhale as I bring it back. Last 2. And last 1, reach and hold. Open out as much as you can. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rotate to the mat. Foot comes down, knees come down. Reach the hands forward, keep your bum up high in the sky, and get that stretch. Deep breaths. Open out the bony parts of the bum to the wall behind you, and let your chest release to the mat. Let your head release to the mat. Reach your arms a little bit further forward if you can. And we've got our last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back. And we'll slowly bring ourselves up to standing on the ends of our mats. From here, take a big inhale, reach the arms up high in the sky. And we're going to exhale, step your right foot forward. Keep the hands up. You can connect the fingers overhead. Now from here, I'm going to lower my back knee, so my left knee down, press my right knee forward as I do, and I'm going to lift. Then again, I'm going to press front knee forward, back knee down, and I'm going to lift. We'll go for 4, for 3, for 2. Now last one, lower and hold. You're going to lean your body back as you press your front knee forward and send your back knee a little further away. Create distance between the 2 knees. Reach your hands behind you. Take your eye focus up into the sky. Deep breaths. Hold that there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the body forward. Lower your left hand onto the mat. Now you can stay with the back knee down, but if you can, lift it up so the leg is straight. With my right hand, I'm going to reach it up into the sky. I'm going to keep my left shoulder away from my ear. Inhale, elbow of the right hand comes down to the outside of my right foot. Inhale, arm comes up. Elbow down to the mat, arm goes up. Go for 4, for 3, for 2. Last one, we can reach and hold. 6, 5, 4. Feel that space between the 2 hands. 3, 2, 1. Hand comes down. Step that foot back, and we're going to step the opposite foot forward. We're going to take the hands up into the sky. Now from here, I'm going to lower my front knee forward, back knee down. And then I'm going to stand back up. Back knee down, front knee forward. And back up. Go for 4, nearly there. For 3. For 2. Now last one, lower hold. Front knee reaches forward, back knee sinks away. Lean your body back. Reach through the arms. Lift the eye focus up. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold the body forward. Right hand comes onto the mat. Spread the fingers, spread the thumb. Lift the back leg up so it's straight. I'm going to bring my left elbow down to the mat. Reach my left arm up. Left elbow down to the mat. Reach it up. You can always keep the back knee down if you need to modify. No problem. Try and keep the shoulders away from the ears all the time. We've got another 3, 2, last one. Reach and hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press the hand down. You can walk the feet in. We're going to turn and face the front of the mat now, or to the front. Spread your feet nice and wide. So I go wider than shoulder width apart here, okay? You'll feel how the hips are moving during this. If you need to adjust your feet wider or narrower, go for it, okay? To start, I'm going to have my big toes turned out ever so slightly, and I'm going to lower into a squat. Now when I lower down, my thigh bones open outwards. The bony parts of my bum open out and down. So I release my bum back. Lower down, stand up. Thigh bones roll out, and I lift. Thigh bones out, and I lift. Bony parts of the bum open out, so flare your bum back just ever so slightly before you stand back up. We'll go for 4, for 3, for 2. Now last one down and hold. I'm going to bring my left elbow inside my left knee and push it out. My right arm I'm going to sweep up, rotate my spine, let the hand come down to the ground. Sweep it up, hand down to the ground. Rotate as you reach and lower. For 3, for 2, and last one. Bring it to center, stand up. When you're ready then, lower down. Right elbow inside the right knee, left arm up and down. You might inhale up, exhale down. Rotate as you lift and back. For 3, 2, and 1. To center. When you're up the top this time, I want you to turn your toes so they're pointing forward. From here, I'm going to lower down like a side lunge. My knee stays over my ankle on this side, opposite leg straight. Hips come across, they don't lift or lower, they come straight across. And I bring it to the other side. Hips across to the opposite side. And hips across. Really nice move for the hips, strengthen the legs, stability in the pelvis. Go for 4, for 3, for 2, and last one. Up through center, roll the shoulders back. You can turn the big toes out again ever so slightly. We're going to lower into a squat. This time my left hand comes down to the mat, right arm sweeps up. Bring it down, touch your hands off each other, sweep up and down. For 4, for 3, for 2, and last one. To center, stand up, roll the shoulders back, lower down, opposite side, rotate, lift and back, lift and back. For 3, for 2, and 1. Stand it up. We're going to finish off with a nice stretch. Toes can be pointed out ever so slightly, not completely rotated out. Legs stay straight. I'm going to slowly hinge from the hips, lower my hands down, try and keep my back flat, walk my hands forward. Feel that stretch in the legs. Transfer the weight back into the heels of your feet. Take deep breaths. From here, walk your hands to the outside of your right foot, keeping your legs straight. Take your left hand as far across as you can to feel a stretch all the way through the left side of the body. Hold that there for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk the hands back to center. Walk your hands to the left. Feel that stretch across the right side of the body now. Weight into the toes a little bit more. Deep breaths. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands come to center. Walk your feet in so that they're side by side. Now give a little bend to your knees. Try and connect your chest onto your thighs. Sink your head between your shoulders. And now every breath you do, I want you to try to lengthen your legs, but keep your chest close to your thighs. When your legs are as straight as they can go, leave them there. Shake your head no. Nod your head yes. And then just let your head hang down nice and heavy. Let your arms hang down nice and heavy. One disc at a time, we're going to roll up. Very gently placing the spine back on top of the hips. When you get to the top, you can roll your shoulders away. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up into the sky. Exhale out and around. And one more big breath up and out, and you're all done.